Hi, Lighthouse kids. Welcome back. Have you ever played Trust Game before? What makes trust games fun?
Trust games are fun because it's a chance to see if you can really trust someone, if they'll catch you or not, or just let you fall. It's also fun to see what happens next.
Nothing makes them fun. They're scary. I don't like it. I'm afraid people are going to drop me.
Are there some people that are easier to trust to catch you than others?
Yes, definitely. Mom and Dad, more than Carter and Kate.
Hey!
So you would trust your parents to catch you more than maybe you trust your siblings?
Yes.
Why is it hard to trust people?
Because of past experiences and things you know that they're going to do.
I think it has to do with the relationship you have with that person every day and how you interact with them, depending on whether or not you actually trust them.
Well, Kate, you look like you weren't really trusting that Tori would catch you. What was going on there?
I don't know. I just felt like since I'm so much bigger than her and I'm so much taller and so much stronger than her, I feel like she was going to drop me on my head because she's a lot smaller than me. But turns out that doesn't mean she's not strong.
Trusting someone depends on our relationship with them and how much faith we have that they'll do what they say they're going to do. This week, we're going to talk about the freedom to trust in God's promises. It reminds me of a story about Paul in Acts. If you have a Bible at home, go grab it. Let's read the story together. Go to Acts chapter 27. This is a story about Paul, a disciple of Jesus. Paul was thrown into jail for preaching the good news to a crowd in Jerusalem about Jesus. This story takes place about 2 years later and is a good example of trusting in God's promises. Paul was a Roman citizen and was allowed to travel to Rome to be tried for his crimes. In Acts 27, Paul boards a ship that's headed to Rome. The ship sailed late in the season and the weather turned stormy. Paul warned them that the voyage would be dangerous, bringing disaster and loss. But they didn't listen and continued on their journey. Soon the winds became strong as a hurricane, and the storm battered the boat for many days. Still the storm raged, and the travelers gave up hope of being saved. It seemed to be an impossible situation, and yet God sent an angel to Paul to tell him that he would be cared for and protected. Paul told everyone on the ship to be courageous because an angel of the Lord said, "Do not be afraid. No one will be lost. Only the ship will be destroyed. God will save the lives of all who sail with you." Paul trusted God's promise. He said, "I have faith in God. It will happen just as he told me." In the middle of a storm, in impossible circumstances, Paul chose to trust God. This time, the captain of the ship and the others on board listened to Paul and followed his instructions. Eventually, they spotted an island and were able to guide the ship towards it. Although the ship hit a sandbar and was broken into pieces, God's promise came true. Every single person on the ship reached land safely. God protected and cared for them. Psalm 145, verse 13 says, "The Lord is trustworthy in all he promises." Can you think of other stories in the Bible where God kept his promises? Maybe you're thinking about the time that God helped the Israelites to the promised land by parting the Red Sea, or Noah surviving the great flood. What about David defeating a giant called Goliath? Or maybe you're thinking about the biggest promise that God made come true, the coming of Jesus. God keeps his promises throughout the Bible, over and over again. We are free to trust in God's promises because he's faithful. Even when we don't understand our circumstances, can't feel him working, or are waiting for a promise to come true, God honors his promises. God promises to love you, protect you, provide for you, help you, strengthen you, and always be with you. What promise do you need to be reminded of this week? Write it down and post it somewhere that you'll see it. Talk to God about it. We are free from worry and fear because we can be confident in the fact that God is faithful, trusting in his promise. May you be blessed this week with joy, hope, and peace, confident in the truth that God's promises to you will come true. Until next time, friends, have a super week.